Well, that's a new development. Must be a Jeep thing. Check this out. We have dancing wipey blades. Well, today the saga continues on this 2017 Jeep. Hello, everybody. Good day to you guys. I am in the middle of a massive rip-off fiasco on this particular Jeep. This thing came in about 2 weeks ago. Customer stated it had a battery draw. The battery was going dead overnight. Yeah, here it is right here. What we were quoted on the phone was $1330.87 out of the door. $210 for labor, $996 for parts, some shop supplies, taxes, all that other nonsense. It was $1,300. When Lauren walked in to pick this thing up last week, they tried $2,400. It ended up in dispute at the service desk. Lauren said she was sitting in an office with one of the managers, or with the service advisor. The service manager came in, handed her an updated bill that had reflected the original price that we talked about on the phone. He said he smiled smugly at her, turned around and walked away and never said a word. So she was a little bit displaced on that because I thought we had like a working relationship with this dealership, but apparently not that day. So anyway, after the first hiccup was overcome, the extra upcharge on another markup, there was like 3 markups that went into this thing, but the extra upcharge on the markup was not applied. So she brings the vehicle back, and before releasing it to the customer, I always verify repairs. So we made sure the battery was full. We parked it out in the parking lot. The next morning, dead battery. That told me either I misdiagnosed it and something else was wrong. So I began to re-diagnose the vehicle. And I made a video about that. I'll leave a link to it up here in this corner. But I made a video about me second guessing and rechecking my previous level of work. In that video, I was scrutinizing the instrument cluster that the dealership sold me as a new unit. And what I had found in that video is it did not appear to be a new unit or a remanufactured unit either. I did not see any identifying sticker marks on the back of the cluster, as well as I had found damage to said cluster. Oh, don't fall. I had found damage to the cluster as if someone had been tampering with it. We looked at another video, and I do encourage you guys to go back and recheck that one or watch it. But out of this reman unit, we found a bunch of pry bar marks on the tabs. Now these tabs are to pull this front cover off of this, which never really should have been removed, especially at the dealership. And I wouldn't believe that the remanufacturers could have done any damage to it, or should have done any damage to it, including breaking that tab off right there. We took this apart as I was trying to scrutinize it, and like I said, I didn't see any updated stickers indicating remanufactured. No warranty void if removed stickers, no updated part number, nothing of that nature. And as I took this apart, I started finding dirt in places and dust in places, and the circuit board inside was dirty, which I didn't really see any indicating signs that this thing had been either repaired or replaced. Now my paperwork says that they installed a new unit. This doesn't look like a new or remanufactured unit, but if we look over here, I paid for it. I paid $996 for this instrument cluster from the dealership right here. And I was not particularly thrilled with the quality of this remanufacturer. So moving on, I was in a panic that day because my customer wanted his vehicle back, and I said, hey, I just spent all this money and your car's not fixed, so I need to restart again. And I told the man what happened and I explained where we were. He actually said that he checked the GPS on the vehicle while it was at the dealership, and he said to me that he saw it get delivered and he saw me drive it away, but they never saw the vehicle moving around when it was at the dealership. Maybe the GPS didn't ping, maybe it didn't, maybe they brought it into the shop, maybe they didn't, but it went along, it added to my suspicions about the situation. So in a panic to try to figure out if I misdiagnosed it, I went, you know what, let's just get another cluster somewhere and we'll plug that one in and we'll recreate the same test, right? So I called Eric from the I Do Cars YouTube channel, who owns and operates a company out of St. Louis called Import Apart. And Eric specializes in reselling quality used auto parts. This is the unit that I got from Import Apart. There's their number and email if you guys are interested. Eric's not paying me for this, but he did supply me this thing at a fantastic price, by the way, way less than $900. This is a used instrument cluster that was taken into import-a-part. It was reprogrammed to my VIN with the mileage. So he was successfully able to update the mileage on this cluster to reflect the actual mileage on that vehicle.
All right, we're gonna set the mileage on this cluster. So there's current miles. We've already verified we can set it. That's not the original miles on the cluster. Cue the waiting music. Yeah. Price is Right or All right, it's 70,839. It's communicating. Well, we got close. It's never dead on. That's the closest we're gonna get.
And I would like to compare this used instrument cluster with the quote remanufactured one that I got from the Chrysler dealership. Let's go fetch this and bring it back to the table. And yes, I know in retrospect I should have marked this somehow before I sent it over, but I did not. But this is what I got from the dealership for $900. This is what I got from Eric for around $100. I'm not gonna tell you his exact price because that's his job to do pricing, not mine. But this is the one that I got from Eric. And you can see it's been touched, it's been handled. It is a used unit, there is some dirt, but what we do not have here is pry bar marks, scratches, tampering, broken tabs, things taken apart. This is just a clean takeout, electronically inspect, reprogram, and have a nice day. I am utterly disappointed in the quality of what was supplied to me from the dealership for the price point that they gave it to me at, because I don't see much of a difference. I don't know what that's doing there like that. We're gonna have to recheck that. I hope it's not broken. Maybe it just did that in transit. But what we're gonna do here is conduct the same parasitic draw test using this used instrument cluster that I got from I Do Cars, and we're gonna see if my diagnosis was right or not. I may have misdiagnosed this, but it does not excuse the fact, in my opinion, that that right there was not worth the price that I paid for from my dealership. I'm very disappointed in such things. So moving on, we're gonna restart the diag process again. I have the meter over there. We're gonna hook it up to the battery. We're gonna get an amp draw out of this. This vehicle's been sitting long enough. It should be asleep. So here's how we're gonna go about this. I'm gonna connect a lead to that negative on the battery. We're gonna connect that same jumper wire to our meter, and then our positive on the meter, connect that to the jumper wire, and that is going to connect to the negative battery cable. So effectively we've disconnected the battery and put the meter in line with the battery. Okay, we'll switch this out to amps. So right now we see we're drawing 262 milliamps of current. And we just powered the thing back up, so there are modules that are awake. I'm gonna set this back in the window so we can see it from the cabin. We're gonna go inside and fiddle with a few things. Loud noises. Okay, so we're climbing back into the Jeep here. It's been about 5-10 minutes, and we can see our draw on our first power up is almost nothing. This is what we wanna see. I know in the last video comments we're saying, hey, your 200 milliamps is still way too high. I agree, that is kind of the threshold. Like that's minimum or maximum allowable. I'm not sure what the actual spec is on this particular platform for what's acceptable for a draw during shutdown events, but this is ideal right here. There's almost nothing pulling power out of this vehicle. So we're gonna take our used from import-a-part cluster, And we're kind of going to recreate the same experiment. We're going to plug it in. Now we've got 3 plugs over here. We have, I believe, these two. One of them goes to the brake pedal switch, and one is the park and brake switch. These lines here, these are all data communication lines, and I think some lighting indicator lines, like inputs for malfunction indicators from the ECM, things of that nature. And then these ones, these are powers and grounds to the module, as well as 2 other data lines right here and here. Now, this is the reason I was doubting my diag, because when I had this thing plugged in, just this connector, it was drawing down the battery. And I was concerned that the cluster was busing communication inputs and outputs through other modules, and the cluster was not either not allowing those modules to go to sleep, or this was actually the draw. Now, in the other video, we disassembled that other cluster and used a thermal imager to see the amount of heat that was showing up in the circuit board, and we had seen a substantial amount of heat differences in this board with that other module plugged in. So today we're recreating the exact same scenario. So I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to try to do it in one cut so you know there's no camera trickery going on here. Now we're going to plug this in. It's just power and ground side, and it's going to spike that meter, because as I turn this on, here we go, we're plugged in. Wow, there we go. So this is modules waking up and turning on, and they are drawing a little bit of power. We're at 400 milliamps. So that's just with the power and grounds connected. Next, we're going to connect the data lines. That way everybody's communicating and talking to each other. Connect these guys. Any difference on the meter? Nope. So the data line is not affecting our power draw. Let's plug in our last set of lines right here. No change. Just gonna park this thing back where it goes for the time being. That's where she sits. Oh, one other thing I want to show you guys. Look real close where the bolts interact on this unit. See how those indentations are present in the plastic? This thing has not been bolted in and out very many times. Now let's go look at that other cluster that I got from the dealership. I'll show you the bolt marks. It appears they were tightened down multiple times. See that? We have multiple fastening events on both of these contact points. That's very, very chewed up. See that? The fastener's been tightened down more than once, and the witness marks on the plastic prove it. And then this one here. There is nothing about this cluster that appears to be in any better condition than that used one that I got from I Do Cars. So, now that it's all plugged in, we can keep an eye on our draw. Let's give it a minute. 446, 47. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I wanna make sure that that is gonna go back to normal. That may have been, I don't know, damaged in shipping or something. So let's come over here. And get a few things disconnected and reconnected. I'm gonna hook up the power supply, or hook the negative to the battery, I should say. Get that connected real quick. I heard some chimes come to life. Let's key it on. Starting the engine. Okay, our tach's working just fine. That gauge must have just moved in transit. Yeah, so far so good. Everybody's working? Okay. We'll shut it down, pull the key out. Door is open. See that right there? So what we'll do, rather than just disconnecting the door, we'll tell it that we're closed. Cluster has powered off. let's go ahead and check for our draw at this point. So far, so good. Let's give it a minute to go to sleep because I've got, there we go, 700 milliamps. We'll wait 5 minutes and see if she goes to sleep. Okay. We're about 20 minutes into it, waiting around. I was up in the office. I said 5 minutes, but it's been 20. Look at that. There is a no amp draw situation right there. Look at that. 0.015. That was our resting drain with everything disconnected. That's with the junkyard cluster from import apart. We have no draw whatsoever. It is not there. And just to show you guys, there's no tomfoolery going down right here. We're still connected. Meter's hooked up. Negative side. There's the cable right there. Everything else is connected. The radio's connected. The little radio module back there is connected. We are fully assembled with the exception of the HVAC module, which we could plug that back in, but it wasn't even on the circuit, so no need to. But our battery draw is done. I now conclude, based on this situation, that cluster is the original cluster that I took to the dealership to have replaced, and they did not replace it. They charged me to replace the part and then gave it right back to me. That's where we're at. Junk. Yep. We're calling the dealership. Dealership audio redacted so I don't get sued. Service, please. I'm actually looking to see if I can.
Great day at Automotive. We're glad you called and are happy.
You did say service.
I did. Next person. Oh, what's up, brother? Hey, any chance I can get a service manager on the line real quick? Asking what I need and why and what the situation is about. Yeah, I had an RO. This is Ray's Auto Clinic. I'm another shop down the street from you. And I sent you guys a Jeep the other day. I asked for an instrument cluster to get changed out. And I don't think you guys did. I took it back apart and I have damage on this cluster. There's broken tabs on it, screwdriver marks. It's still got a parasitic draw and there's no reman stickers on it. I went ahead and got another one and I don't have my draw anymore. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this part that I got from you guys.
1 minute later.
Hello, I'm looking for a service manager. Can you help me out? This is Raymond at Ray's Auto Clinic.
Did you just refer to yourself in the fourth person?
I'm down the street from you guys on 26. So I'm going to tell you the story. A couple weeks ago, I got this Jeep Wrangler into my shop. It was a parasitic draw. I diagnosed it as a faulty instrument cluster. So we called up parts over there. I buy a lot of parts from you guys. We called up parts, and the parts guy told me that it's going to require some programming. And logistically, we just decided to ship the vehicle over to you guys to have this cluster thrown into it. And I got it back, assuming all was well, but the next day the battery was stone cold dead. So I thought, I misdiagnosed this car. So I kind of started over again, and I ended up getting traced right back to the cluster. So I pulled the unit back out, and what I found was not kind of what I expected. I've got on my RO here a reman or a new instrument cluster for this unit. And what I took out was, it was pried open with like a pry bar, like screwdrivers. It has broken tabs on it. There's no reman sticker on the thing anywhere. And it looks like it's just got a bunch of tooling marks all over it from being installed and removed, or removed and then reinstalled. Still trying to check and see if I had originally misdiagnosed it myself. I went ahead and I got another unit. It was just a junkyard unit and I had it flash programmed. I plugged in this other unit and my draw is gone. So that kind of confirmed I was right on the diag with the thing. But the issue that I'm calling you about is I paid you guys $996 for this part, and it's not a new part. And I can't see where it's a reman part. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Did we have a miscommunication problem in the shop over there? or what's the status of these parts coming in as remands, because this thing is actually in really bad shape. Like I said, it's got broken tabs on it. There's screwdriver marks on the thing. I forgot to play the generic recording that stated that all calls are being monitored and recorded for quality control purposes. Therefore, other voices are being redacted. Normally I wouldn't care, but I don't feel like getting sued. Yeah. Let me see if it's on this RO. I got your paperwork here. I got the RO number if you can look that up. Audio redacted. Yep. She said the tech that worked on it has been there for a very long time, and then said, can I call you back?
For you.
You can call. I'll give you my cell phone number if that's cool. You want to write it down?
Yeah.
All right, it's 941. If you shoot me a text real quick, I can take you some quick pictures of this unit, and that way you can sort of see what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything sideways happened on purpose, but I'm not sure, but something's not right. I actually think that this cluster that I'm holding is the one that came out of the Jeep originally. Like, I'm just not seeing any indicators that this thing was changed. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, I'll send it right over. Give me like 2 minutes. What was your name again? I'm sorry, I forgot it. Pleasure. Nice to meet you. I'll send you those pics right now. Just give me a ring back when you get some more info, and let's get this worked out, okay? All right, thank you. See you later. Well, everybody, it has been about 22 hours since the phone calls that I made with the dealer about this Jeep. It's also been 22 hours since we put that used instrument cluster in that came from Import-A-Part, and now we're gonna hop in this unit and hit the key and fire it up, and we're gonna see once and for all if this thing has a dead battery or not. Are you ready? I am ready. Key in, key on, beginning engine starting sequence now. No problem, she fired right up. So we don't have a battery drain. The problem has been solved. I have fixed the battery draw situation on this particular unit, and I still have not heard back yet from dealership people. We actually called we called them again today and asked them if they had any update on their investigation that I requested, and the person I was talking to is not there today. So I guess we're gonna have to wait until I get word from the dealership and what they want to do about the situation here. They said they were looking into it. I'm gonna give them the opportunity to do such things. Not mad at them. I just want to figure out where the breakdown in communication occurred. There was a breakdown somewhere in here. Somebody didn't do what needed to be done, and the end result is what we saw. Now, maybe it was deliberate, maybe it wasn't. I personally don't think it was deliberate. I think there was just a massive communication issue. It happens, and I think that somehow slipped through the cracks of the communication failure, and I ended up getting my old part back and paid for a new one, and nobody knows what's going on except for me and you. That's what I think. But anyway, the saga will not go to rest until I have answers and confirmation. I assure you guys, I'll let you know, because I know you're vested in this story and you'd like to see the outcome. But the most important part here is that my customer's vehicle is in good running and operating condition and is ready to hit the road. So that being said, at this point right now, I have nothing more to offer you guys in this particular video. Again, when I have some more answers, I will update everybody on what's going on with this situation, because we're all eager for resolution here. But until that time, and as always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching one more time. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. End of video, end of dealership saga, end of Jeep, end of battery drain, end of transmission.